let's talk a little bit about this RFK food crisis, whatever you want to call it. That literally you can't fucking go on YouTube or Twitter or anything without seeing this whole thing. So I'm going to give my 2 cents on the whole thing. Right out front, I want to say I am a huge RFK fan. Anybody who knows me knows that I was advocating for him for the last 2 years, probably. I don't think he's a fucking nut. I don't think he's an anti-vaxxer. I don't think he's any of that shit that they say. And as much as I dislike other people in power, I'll just leave it at that, I'm glad that he is there in one way or another. And he fucking who. So this whole cancers and foods, I was on board with that. I was. If there is something in our food causing cancer and all this other horrific shit that at first they were saying was in the food, I'm all for changing the formula, getting that shit out, obviously, and having a different formula of the food that's healthier and better and, you know, maybe doesn't give you fucking cancer. But then it shifted somehow. And now I'm seeing it's not giving you cancer and it's not causing whatever the fuck else they're trying to say. First off, if you really want to go dive deep into that, it's like no one had a problem with fucking DuPont dumping all that bullshit in the fucking water and giving everybody all kinds of crazy shit for, I don't know, fucking 30 years, 40 years. Making Teflon fucking pans that everybody knew the women working on those lines were having miscarriages and deformed babies and all kinds of shit. No one gave a shit about that, but any fucking knew. Back to the food. So you see fucking clowns like Rob Schneider, who runs his 4'2" Humpty Dumpty midget ass on Twitter all fucking day long about let's get healthy and change the food and get your fucking 10,000 steps in, which you should, and all this other nonsense that he does not do. Fuck my mic up because I'm getting excited. If we're at a place where the food isn't causing cancer and isn't causing any other ailment than obesity, I'm not for changing it. I'm not for changing it. Because you can't have one side talk about free speech and your rights and your right to choose and da 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 da, and then go and take away a certain category of food or change a whole category of food because it's not healthy for you. Now, I'm going to say this, and it's going to bother some people, and I don't fucking care if it bothers people. Being fat, being obese, being morbidly obese is a choice. If that don't sit right with you, turn the fucking video off. Because it is. Now, it's not a choice in the sense of if I gave you skinny guy right here, skinny, healthy, 600-pound fucking unhealthy fat guy, and you're going to be like, I'll take the fat one every time. Please. Obviously, that's not what the fuck I'm saying. So, use a little bit of common sense. And realize that I'm not calling you a fat ass because you chose to be in a fucking little thing where you checkmarked it. It's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, if you can continue to live the lifestyle that you live, and I'm not even saying food addict. I'm not even saying food addict because you cannot be a food addict and be overweight and out of shape. I am not a food addict. I view food very, very differently than even people in my own house. I literally look at food as fuel that gets me to the next fucking day. I literally mash all my shit together and I down it. Do I enjoy a good meal? Of course I do. Fucking human. But at the end of the day, it's like you got so much shit going on in the day, especially like if you train and like You just have kids and a wife and a job and a life and you play guitar and whatever the fuck else. By the time you get to sit down and eat that meal, that's probably already half cold by that point because, you know, you're feeding everybody, kids got this and blah, 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 the dog, whatever. You just fucking shovel it in. I just shovel it the fuck in. I mix it together, I shovel it in. That being said, fat being a choice. You chose for, and you don't get fat overnight. No one wakes up and they're like, Jesus Christ, what happened? I had cheeseburger last night. I'm 500 pounds. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. When I got into this and I started working out, it's because I really hated the way I looked. I had a huge gut. I had fucking man tits. I didn't like the way I looked. Now, my wife says she did. I don't mind. I like the way you look. That's sweet, and that's nice, and that's great. And you love me, and I love you, and you're supposed to say that, and that's great. But I'll tell you what, now that I don't have that, and my stomach's flat, and I have pecs, not tits, pecs, there's not a time that my shirt's not off that she doesn't have her hand on my chest or on my stomach, and it's fucking nice. So, anyway, back to me being a fat ass. I'm not a food addict. I don't overeat. Most of the time. So let me explain on that. Meaning, like, I don't eat an entire fucking tray of lasagna and then I'm like, give me the second tray because I'm gonna fucking polish that. I was never that guy who can just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. And some people are those people who can just fucking eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat, and they don't even gain weight somehow. It's like, I don't even understand how that makes sense. I have a cousin, Joey, who can literally eat an entire fucking large pizza, still be hungry because the dude's never full, and never fucking gain weight. Like, I'm pretty sure he's on weight gainers at the moment. I think last time I spoke with him, that's what he was telling me, because he just still can't gain fucking weight, which is just strange. But I don't know the medical term of what the fuck's going on there. But also, medical wise, if you have a thyroid problem or you have some issue going on that's making you maybe like retain water or just makes your weight fluctuate, because I know there's a lot of shit out there that you can get, whatever, then being fat is not a choice that you made. Like, that doesn't pertain to you. It pertains to the motherfuckers who are obese or morbidly obese, or like I was, who knew exactly what they were doing to get there. You didn't get there overnight. I didn't get to 205 pounds flabby with a gut that looked like I was a beer drinker. That's what my gut looked like. I was flabby in my arms, and I had a gut. Maybe I'll put the picture up in somewhere. Maybe I won't, though. It's embarrassing. Anyway. But that's what happened. I started looking at myself in the mirror and being embarrassed. Being embarrassed that I let myself get to this point. And then on top of that, I was already like battling, trying to quit smoking, which is an addiction. All right. So you people who are addicted to food, it's like, dude, I get it. I smoked for 28 fucking years. Okay. Loved it. At least thought I did. But I was addicted to it. And it fucked me up. And it caused a lot of shit. A lot of bad shit that's happened in my life. Cigarettes didn't help. Now, sure, genetics played a role in all that. Anyone who knows us, knows the family, knows the Cardiac Brothers theme is terrible fucking genetics when it comes to heart. Let me get a sip of coffee. That being said, if you're told at 6, which I wasn't, but if you're told at 6, hey, you got really bad hearts in this family, maybe don't eat disgusting, greasy, delicious fucking food over the next, 25 years. And on top of that, smoke fucking a pack and a half of Newports for 28 years. Maybe don't do that. Which is like what I tell my kids. I tell my kids, we got bad hearts in this family. Please watch what you eat. I'm not saying you can't have a bag of chips and a fucking brownie and some ice cream and live like a child. I'm not saying that, because I don't do that to my kids. We don't get fast food. I couldn't even tell you the last time we got fast food or like pizza or whatever in this house, but like they will. Like my kids will. I'm not against that. Your kid wants a fucking Happy Meal. My son's 9. Like, let him get a Happy Meal. I'm not gonna kill him. 100 in a month. You know what the fuck you're doing. Anywho, so I tell them genetics is going to play a role in their life, just like it played a role in my life. Now, we didn't know at a really young age that our genetics were like that, but our mom kind of made us aware of that at an early enough age, with 14, 13, 14, and basically grabbed each kid and said, hey, I got my chest fucking cracked open. I think my mom was 40. I got my chest cracked open, pretty young. Maybe don't smoke anymore, and maybe don't eat complete dog shit. And we didn't listen. I didn't listen. So yeah, if genetically you have an issue, or you have a thyroid, or you have whatever, I'm not calling you a fucking fat ass and saying that it's your choice. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that I got to my worst because of me. Hold yourself accountable. It didn't happen overnight. You're not going to lose it overnight either. So that's another thing. People get into this, say they're, 300 pounds or whatever. They expect to start working out, get on a healthy program, get their weight training program under control, because it takes time. It takes time. You don't just 1 week, 2 weeks. It's not like, okay, fuck, I got it all figured out now. I was just telling a buddy of mine not that long ago that it probably took a good 2 months for me to like really hammer down my program, to really understand these are the calories that I could afford to take in on a bulk, which is like fucking endless. And these are the calories I could afford to take in on a cut, or on, we'll call it a deficit, or not a deficit, a surplus or a deficit. So it takes time. You can't just figure out in 2 days like 1,400 calories. That's my deficit, 1,400 calories. You're not going to know that in 2 days. What you need to do is set yourself up for 1,400 calories, or whatever you want to set it up for. Weigh yourself each day for a week or 2 weeks, even better. Weigh yourself each day, take the average. If you are 300 pounds and you're on a 1,500 calorie diet, and over that 2 week period of time you lost 4 pounds, you average 2 pounds a week, yeah, you're in a deficit, and that works for you. Surplus, same thing. When I was bulking, it took me a little while, for one, because I was a little bitch with the amount of food that I had to eat. I'd fucking love to eat that much, but I was a bitch with the amount of intake I had to fucking do. But I needed to be around like 3,400 calories to really start seeing results, and that's what got me my results. It's like once I got to that, but it took a little while. You got to play around with shit. It's like, oh, can I bulk on 2,800 calories? Okay, no. I'm gaining way too slow. I'll be bulking for fucking 24 weeks. I didn't want to do that. So you got to play with your numbers and see where you end up at. So that's the first thing. So I know I got off track there, but what I was saying is everybody wants instant gratification. Doesn't work. My wife literally just said to me before she went to work, I've never felt this good. I've never looked this good. And what I said to her was, you never were this consistent before. So back in the day, after having our first kid or our second kid or whenever women feel like they're fat, which is like every 8 minutes, she would go and like do these boot camps. And she'd be like, oh, I'm going to do this week and a half boot camp, me and the girls, and I'm going to fucking lose weight and yada, yada, yada. And this is before I knew shit. So I'm like, all right, fucking do it. They would go do these boot camps, and yeah, she'd lose 3-4 pounds. They'd kick her ass in that week and a half. But then it's like afterwards, like her and all her girls, nobody would continue to do shit. So it's like, okay, you just lost 3 or 4 pounds. Not knowing it then, in my mind, I'm like, all right, she's down 3 pounds or 4 pounds or whatever. Nah. Being that she just came home and just didn't capitalize on those 3 or 4 pounds and like get a program together and like go to the gym or whatever, that 3 and 4 fucking pounds is back in 2 or 3 days of just falling back into your shit, you know, falling back into a fucking Coca-Cola and a bag of chips at night type shit. That's right back on. It's right back on. So now, you know, I don't want to say her starting weight, but anybody who knows my wife, she's pretty small to begin with. But she wanted to slim down even more, and she wanted to tone up, which is something that she never had. So then, what did we do? We took like a month, maybe 2 months, to like fine-tune her program to get her where she wanted to be. And today is when she said, you know, I never felt this good or looked this good in like all of my life. And my response to her was, you've never been this consistent for this long. You know, you're on like a 6-month path now of kicking ass. You know, fucking kicking ass. And yeah, you had some hiccups here. Listen, no one's perfect. No one's perfect. Don't listen to... If you're gonna fucking follow a fitness guy, and they're gonna sit there and tell you, like, no cheat meal. Fucking never. I never had a cheat meal. I never went to Burger King. I never did any of that shit. Bullshit. Fucking bullshit. We all do. We fucking all do. Even if I do it now, which I guess when I was bulking I did. Right now that I'm in the cut, I won't do it. But when I was bulking and I couldn't get enough calories in, yeah, I had no fucking problem on my way to work stopping and grabbing 5 cheeseburgers and downing that shit. But I mean, that's a totally different... That's in a bulk and a cut. It's totally different than a fat loss. In the fat loss phase, have I cheated in the past? Yeah, absolutely. Especially the holidays come. Fuck that. You're not going to tell me on Thanksgiving that I'm not having a piece of apple pie, a piece of pumpkin pie, and a piece of chocolate pie, probably all on the same fucking plate, probably with whipped cream on it, probably a whole take-home as well. We all do it, and it's fine. You're fucking human. You're gonna fuck up. I tell my one buddy, don't win the day, win the week. And that's true. You might fuck up in a day. You might have a workout like me and Vinny were talking about, how you just go that whole week and you just can't fucking get right, boss. You just can't. It feels like all week long you're struggling, you're lifting like shit and you know it, and you're beating yourself up over it. And it still happens to this day, you know. Vinny just had that, like, 2 weeks ago or whatever. And you know what's funny is he was leading up to getting sick, so maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe his body was telling him, like, yo, big dog, fucking tone it down a little bit. But Diesel don't listen, so. But my point being, it's like you're going to have shit weeks every now and then you're going to have really fucking awesome weeks where you just fucking hammer out, like I did today. Like, I went down and I did 2 hours just on arms that I was working today. And it felt great. And when I got done, I just felt satisfied. It's hard to feel satisfied in the fitness space world, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But like Vin said, like, you'll almost never be happy. And I get that, because there's times where, you know, I'll take my pictures, like every week, every 2 weeks, because you should always take before pictures, after pictures. You don't have to send them out. You keep them for yourself so you can see your own progress, because it's the hardest for you to see your own progress. So I take those pictures, and times that I'm feeling like dog shit, I'm like, hey man, am I even fucking getting anywhere? I'll look at those pictures, and I'll look at a picture from 3 weeks ago, and I'll look at my picture today, and I'm like, someone's getting some shoulders up in there, someone's getting some traps. It changes. You just can't see it the way other people see it. So yeah, take your pictures, but yeah, you know, I went down and I crushed a fucking workout today, and who knows, maybe tomorrow's workout will fucking suck. But win the week. So if you have enough good ones throughout your week, like, you'll win the week. If you fuck up on a Monday and maybe you ate, say you're on a deficit and you ate 1,700 calories, and you're supposed to be at 1,400, it doesn't mean you fucked up and you fucked your whole week up. That just means Tuesday, eat 1,200. Wednesday, eat 1,300. Thursday, eat 1,300. You have to look at it from like a week to week standpoint, not a day to day. Yeah, the day to day is going to add the fuck up, but if you fuck up one day, you could literally bounce back the next day, as long as it's not like fucking drastic. You know, if on a Monday you drank a case of fucking beer, you and your boy, and you ate 2 large pies together, like, yeah, you guys fucking work to do. But Who fucking fucks up like that? Right? Maybe people do. Any fucking who. Back to this food thing, to where this all fucking started. This RFK food thing. I'm not on the side of change the food. I'm not. I'm on the side of change your mindset. Change your mindset. You know, going and getting a fucking Whopper or a Big Mac and fry and Coke, you know that's 2,000 calories in one meal that's going to satisfy you for 45 minutes, an hour. Because that kind of shit, it's like the shittier the food, I mean, it tastes so fucking good, but the shittier the food, it seems like you're hungry again in an hour. Chinese food's a perfect example. I fucking love Chinese food. I couldn't tell you the last time I had Chinese food, and now I want Chinese food. You eat Chinese food, I'll fucking dominate Chinese food, and I'll feel like I'm all fucked up, and then what happens? 45 minutes later, like, how many egg rolls are up in there? Is there more? Like, I'm starving. And that's how a lot of that food is. I'll eat a double Whopper meal, which is like one of my favorite things to fucking eat. And yeah, I'm fucked up for an hour, and then I'm starving, and I'm looking for something else. And being fucked up for that hour cost me 2,000 calories. 2,000 calories. Plus, you know, the fucking big gulp soda, which is endless amounts of sugar. It's just not worth it. It's worth it once you can kind of get to a place where you're feeling good. Yeah, it's a real nice treat here and there to go and fuck that meal up. That's awesome. Or someone like me who, I used to cook spaghetti constantly in this house. Like once a week we would have spaghetti. We're fucking guineas. I would eat so much fucking spaghetti. I would eat a big ass plate of spaghetti. Everybody would be done. I'd put the leftovers in the fucking container, you know, just like Mama did. Around 11:30, 12 at night, what am I doing? I'm sitting there, I'm watching TV. Oh fuck, I got the spaghetti in there. You go in there, you heat that bitch up. You don't even put it on a plate. You don't even put it on a fucking plate. You heat it up. Not even long. 30 seconds. Get a couple crackles in that bitch in the fucking Tupperware. You pull it out like a fat piece of shit, and you down the rest of that shit. I could not tell you how many times I've done that. So many times. So delicious. So not worth it. Now, I can't tell you the last time I had spaghetti, but I'm on a specific thing that I'm trying to do because we're all going on vacation in like, I don't know, a week. So I wouldn't do it right now, but say when we get back from vacation, it's not a problem for me to have spaghetti one night. It just isn't, because I like the way I look. Having one fucking spaghetti night is not gonna fuck my progress up to the point to where I'm like, well, there goes pasta for the rest of my life. It's just not a thing. Fat being a choice. If you're mad at it, I'm sorry, but it didn't happen overnight. You're not gonna take it off overnight. It's not the fucking food. It's you. It's how much food you're eating. Doesn't even have to be a food addiction, because mine's not a food addiction. But when I got to that point, it was a mixture of things. It was low activity. You know, when you go from 15 to 25, always outside, playing basketball, playing baseball, playing football, like we all did, we were naturally in shape for zero fucking reason. You know what I mean? Just because we were doing all of that. Once you stop doing all of that, you don't realize, like, waking up in a bagel of cream cheese for breakfast seems normal. And if you're at a decent weight, yeah, it's fucking fine. But if you're not, that's 500 calories right off the jump. 500 you're eating when you could have had two scrambled eggs, and be at 120 calories plus good protein. But you didn't. You had the fucking bagel and cream cheese. For lunch, you had probably something horrible. You know, maybe you're at work and they all ordered, I don't know, pizza or whatever, and you ate 2 or 3 slices of that. There's 700, 800 calories, depending on where you got it from. You didn't get healthy pizza. I don't care if they put broccoli on the fucking top. So my point is, by the time you get home for dinner, you're already, 1,100 calories in, and then you're gonna crack a Coke or whatever, or a beer or whatever the fuck it might be. Have your dinner. Probably sit down, get ready to watch your shows, and an hour into your show, you're gonna crack another Coke. You're gonna have a bag of chips sitting there. You're gonna demolish half those chips. That's not an eating disorder. That's just fucking normal. That's just normal. That's the type of shit I would do. I'd go in and grab a cosmic brownie, which is literally 2 fucking bites of heaven. And those 2 bites are 400 calories. 400 calories. I might do that 2-3 times a day. 2-3 times a day. I'm already at 1,200 calories on 6 fucking bites of cosmic brownie. You don't think about it. I never sat there at the end of the day and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I have an eating disorder. Because I didn't. I just had a living disorder. I wasn't paying attention to nothing. Is that okay to do every now and then? Absolutely. Absolutely it is. If you're not 500 pounds, it's fine. If you are 500 pounds, get your ass down to a weight that you're comfortable at. You don't have to be fucking shredded and ripped and all that. That's a fucking choice too. You just need to get to a comfortable weight to where you could eat that brownie and feel okay. And not feel like, man, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this again? Because we all been there too. We all been there too, man. Where you do something and you're mad at yourself. You feel guilty. Me and Vin touched on this a little bit when we would skip a workout or whatever. You know, skip a day. And you almost fought with it like all morning long. Like, nah, I'm just gonna do the workout. And then by 1 you're like, nah, fuck it, man. Like, I'm doing good. Like, I'm not gonna do a workout. And then you don't do it. And then by 9 o'clock at night, you feel like dog shit. And you're like, I'm a piece of shit. Maybe that's mental. Probably is. But I know every time I would skip a workout, I'd be like, you ass. You should have just fucking did it. You ain't sick. Your body's not too sore to the point where it's like you couldn't work out. You'll know your body. So if you do need that day physically to recover, that's cool. Like, take that day. I think more people should listen to their body and how it feels, and you'll know if you need that day physically. But if it's just fucking we're having a lazy day, like Vinny said, like, motivation's kind of bullshit, and he's kind of right. Like, you need motivation to start. That you're right to start your journey. You got to be motivated, but real quick. I'm talking second week in, motivation fucking waves bye-bye, and you're like, this fucking sucks. This sucks. So then you know what's next after that? What takes the place of motivation is results. 100%. Once you start seeing some results, right when you're about to give up, and you're like, oh shit, what is that? Is that a trap that I've never seen before? That's what gets you going. And you're like, I can't wait to go 2 days from now and fucking nail traps or triceps or whatever. Or your stomach. Like, you know, I took measurements of all my body, so did my wife. And we didn't check them for a while. And then we checked them and we were pleased as fuck. And it's like, that's the type of shit that's going to keep you going. It's not necessarily motivation anymore. It's just fucking A. Like, it's working. It works. Put the time in and it works. But yeah, to the food thing, if you're all rah on fucking free speech and all this other shit, that I'm for a lot of it and against some of it and whatever. This isn't a political channel. Ain't gonna get into that. But don't change the food. Don't change the food. Maybe make I know a lot of people say healthy food is too expensive. Some of the shit is, not gonna lie. Most of it's not. Some of it is, and I get, you know, you can go and get 5 cheeseburgers at McDonald's for, it used to be $5. I think now it's like fucking 8 or 9. Either way, it's cheap. I get that, but I mean, you can buy chicken in bulk, and that's pretty cheap. And you know, your vegetables are pretty cheap. It's when you start getting into like your yogurts and that kind of shit, there is cheap versions for sure. But it's like, we want this got fucking 46 grams of protein for only $13.99 for one bite. That's, you start getting into that bullshit. But you can get a 79-cent Yoplait. It's like 13 grams of protein. No, it's not that high. 8 maybe. I don't fucking know. Anyway, change your mindset. Make a different choice. If you got the Big Mac here, which is so delicious and so good and amazing, and I understand that, and it's great, but you know what it's going to do to you if you eat a Big Mac, I don't know, fucking twice a week. I don't think anybody eats a Big Mac twice. I'm sure there is. If you eat fucking a Big Mac once a week for 10 years, what do you think happens? Like, just take the Big Mac and say, I'm good. You know what I do? I'm a burger connoisseur. I fucking love them. I get lean beef, I make them into fucking baddies. And instead of using like a bun or bread or anything, I wrap that bitch in lettuce. I throw a tomato on top of that motherfucker. I throw a little dab of ketchup, and I murder that shit. I know that doesn't sound appetizing, doesn't sound great, and to me it didn't either at first. Now, no, it's one of my favorite meals. Like, I look forward to that. When I prep a bunch of burger patties, I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven. I literally wake up like, fuck yes. I get to wrap this in some lettuce, throw a tomato on top, and I'm going to fuck this thing up. It's good proteins, lean meat. You get it lean. Eventually, it starts to suck less. It starts to suck less. So make a different choice. You don't need presidents and politicians and all these people to change all these fucking policies. You just don't. Make a different choice.